It is the right thing by sticking with the pulse, and construction has commenced for the new mother and baby unit at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. This follows the second successful fundraising ceremony at Menchia with support from Dasantehini, Seitu and his wife, Lady Julia. And the First Lady, Rebecca Kufuor-Addo, is optimistic that the construction of the new mother and baby unit will be completed in the next 4 months.
By the grace of God, I think we can begin work as soon as possible to stop our newborn babies from dying unnecessarily. The babies are our future, the children are our future, and we cannot sit by and allow this to happen. And so we are going to cut the sword very soon for the new mother and baby unit, which should be ready in the next 4 months. And to the contractor, we will provide all the support that you would need to get the work going. And may God see us through this work all the way through as soon as possible so that we can get full use of it very, very soon.
Well, that was a very brief remarks there, brief message there for us from the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Kufuor-Addo. She told us about how excited and, of course, how happy she is to see this very day. The fact that an initiative that she has embarked upon is going to see the light of day. And at this very moment, we're moving into the grounds where the maternity block, the very new one, will be put up so that the sword cutting will take place. Well, presently we have the Chief Executive Officer for the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. I don't know when last he had a pickaxe in his hand, but he's, made a hole on the ground and is going to plant something that is to signify that, yes, we are ready to put up this new maternity block. It brings joy to my heart. And, of course, when I was following the First Lady, when she went around the maternity block, trust me, I can tell you that the excitement that the mothers on admission welcomed her with was beautiful. Now, as we speak, the First Lady has, put a few sand on some shovel, and I'm sure she's going to put it on the tree, and then that will end it all for us here at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. It's indeed beautiful. It's indeed heartwarming. I'm excited to be part of this beautiful project that has been embarked upon by the First Lady, of course, her foundation, by Komfanoche Teaching Hospital, with support from Menchia, and of course also from the support we've had from the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital as well. Right now, well, a tree has been put on the ground, and the First Lady is putting water on it, and that is to say that this definitely will serve a very good purpose. May the Lord God Almighty see us through the building. That's a project that will be put up within the next 4 months, and may bring peace and relief to everyone who comes here to receive health care.
So you saw it all. Now, the Chief Executive of the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital, Dr. Joseph Akpalu, commended the efforts of the First Lady and the multimedia group.
The hospital has for far experienced extreme congestion in most of its operational areas, especially in child health, obstetric and gynecology directories. This is in view of the fact that hospitals receive referral from 10 regions and beyond that of Ghana. And the hospital has not witnessed major expansion in the field of maternity and child health block, but also in others. Efforts to solve this problem of congestion since 1976, when work commenced on the construction of 9,095 bed maternity and children's block, which is just lying there. We shall continue to count on your kind support in the years ahead, especially regards to the completion of maternity and children's block. which will provide a long-term solution to the problem at the hospital. I cannot bring my address to a close without conveying our gratitude to corporate Ghana and philanthropic individuals who have dug deep into the coffers to support this project. To you all, we are most grateful. The history of this hospital, as far as the story about expansion of the new maternity and mothers unit at Confanoche Teaching Hospital, will never be completed without reference to your remarkable donations.
All right, so that mother and baby unit is supposed to be ready in the next 4 months. We'll be looking out for that. But it is here strongest statement, her strongest statement yet, an indictment of the John Mahama-led administration. Okay, but before we go into the nitty-gritty of these whole procurement issues, let's get more into the Confanoche mother and baby unit and speak with Ohime Interior, who's been on the beat. Hello, Ohime Interior. You're welcome on the Pulse.
Thank you, Aisha.
Ohime, so how has it been? How has the response been to this whole commencement of the much anticipated mother and baby unit to be built for the Confanoche Teaching Hospital?
Yes, Aisha, today it was all joy. Some of the patients and staff of Confanoche turned the event into a merry-making one, especially when they saw the first lady and the second lady touring some of the designated wards at the mother and baby unit, for instance. Some of the mothers who were on admission shouted on top of their voices to welcome the First Lady. And when the First Lady also said that the time has come for the commencement of the project, the gathering was thrown into ecstasy and joy. So for the staff of Confanoche Teaching Hospital, especially the medical staff, it is a dream come true. This is what they have been hoping for, but unfortunately, it has not been forthcoming. But thanks to the multimedia group and the First Lady's office, this whole dream has come into a reality. And some of the people who have also used the facility and seen their wives and babies pass away at the facility also expressed joy, especially when I spoke to Mr. Owusu-Ansah, who lost 2 of his babies and nearly lost a 3rd one. He said, at first, he vowed never to return to Confanoche Teaching Hospital for any maternal care or delivery. But this time around, with the hope of the new facility coming into being, he has a change of mind, and definitely he will come back to the facility, bring the wife and also the family members to also access healthcare delivery at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital. So, Aisha, I will say it was all joy for Confanoche Teaching Hospital staff and even some of the patients who were on admission at the facility.
Were you able to speak with the contractors for this project? How are they going to make sure that they meet the deadline? Hello, Ohime Interior. Hello, Ohime. Well, I think we lost Ohime Interior there, but it is her strongest statement yet, and an indictment of the John Mahama-led administration, accusing them of cronyism, looting of state coffers, and to put it bluntly, thievery. They are the comments of the Minister of State responsible for public procurement, Adwoa Safo, as she opened a training session for officials and other stakeholders of the Public Procurement Authority. Let's listen to her now.
The core reason for the promulgation of Act 663 was to sanitize the government procurement procedures, make it more transparent and less prone to corruption, which hitherto had bedeviled the government procurement processes. Without doubt, the quest to achieve a more transparent, corruption-free procurement process has been the very little or no improvement, as the policy remains the single most abused policy ever introduced by the government. To justify this claim, we are aware of how the previous government unjustifiably took advantage of sole sourcing, a method under the law to loot states' money. By this method, several contracts were awarded to cronies and families, which also resulted in dubiously inflating contract costs for purposes of creating, looting, and sharing. I must assure you that under the watch of His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President, appropriate steps will be taken under our tenure of office to stop this wanton abuse of sole sourcing as a method of government contract.
Well, she says several measures are in place to ensure the situation is brought under control, including full-scale probe of contracts awarded during the period of the previous administration.
Gentlemen, this morning, we would also witness a milestone of government's effort at ensuring an effective public financial management system that guarantees value for money. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to tell you about 4 major important activities that my outfit will be carrying out. 1, we are compiling a list of all ongoing contracts and projects with all government institutions in order to advise government whether or not to proceed or abrogate such contracts. Again, number 2, investigating the procurement processes and procedures that each procurement entity went through before awarding government contracts to any public sector person in order to ascertain the level of compliance. 3, my office will come up with a policy document on 70% of government contracts or projects for our local companies or industries, and also ensure that 30% of that 70% goes to women, companies owned by women, persons with disability, and the youth in employment. This was a manifesto promise that we made to the people of Ghana before we took office. And my office would make sure that we would implement these policies to the best of our abilities.
All right, so joining us on the line is Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji, who was Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee during that period. Good evening to you. We're extremely grateful for your time on the Pulse. Hello, Honorable Aveji, you are on the Pulse. Well, I think Honorable Aveji is not hearing us. We'll try and bring him back on the line. But you heard her. The accusations were very strong and very indicting on the John Mahama-led administration. She says that they looted and they shared. All the contracts were for their cronies. And she says it was signifying free. And she says there will be a probe into all those matters, and they'll bring an end to all of that. We'll still try and get Minority Leader, Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji to speak on this matter. But let's do more on the Pulse.